The hemorrhage status effect is represented by this blood drop symbol, and what it does is increase the frequency of injured survivor bleeding, which creates a more visible blood trail that the killer can track. Sometimes hemorrhage can have a timer on it, and you will know it has a timer because you will see this gray outer circle slowly deplete around the hemorrhage icon. It is important to know that timer-based hemorrhage effects do not stack to make a longer timer. Instead, what happens is the lower timer will always be disregarded and replaced by the longer timer. In any case, whenever a survivor afflicted by hemorrhage gets healed to full, the status effect will be removed even if it is timer-based. Hemorrhage can be combined with the killer perk Bloodhound, which is a unique perk from the Wraith, and says fresh blood marks are considerably more discernible than normal and can be tracked for 2, 3, or 4 seconds longer than normal. This makes it a lot easier for killers to keep track of injured survivors as the blood glows a bright red. To give you guys a better visual of normal survivor bleeding versus hemorrhage bleeding, I'll use the point of view of a killer with Bloodhound equipped. Here is the normal bleeding of a survivor, compared with the bleeding caused by hemorrhage. Now that you know what hemorrhage does, let's see what killers can do to cause it. Currently, there is only one perk that can apply hemorrhage, and it's called Sloppy Butcher, a base perk for all killers. It says, wounds inflicted by successful attacks slightly, moderately, or considerably increase the survivor's bleeding frequency. This is the hemorrhage status effect, and causes the mangled status effect. I go over the mangled status effect in a different video, which I will link here. But basically, it just increases the time it takes to heal. If you are a survivor and you get hit by the killer when they have Sloppy Butcher equipped, the game will tell you what rank the perk is, and that it causes hemorrhage on you. Now for the killer add-ons that can apply hemorrhage. The Race Rare Blind Warrior White add-on applies hemorrhage and mangled to survivors hit by his surprise attacks until they are fully healed. The Huntress's common add-on, Core Stone, applies hemorrhage for 30 seconds to survivors hit by her hatchets. She has another add-on, the Uncommon Fine Stone, which applies hemorrhage for 60 seconds. The Trapper's Uncommon add-on, Serrated Jaws, applies hemorrhage to survivors that step in his bear traps. This effect remains until they are fully healed. Freddy's very rare add-on, Z-Block, says, after a survivor interacts with a dream trap, the survivor gains the hemorrhage status effect for 60 seconds. If the survivor is healthy, they will bleed for the duration of the hemorrhage status effect. This is the only time that hemorrhage will cause a survivor to continue to bleed even if they are fully healed. He also has the uncommon add-on Cat Block, which says after a survivor interacts with a dream trap, the survivor gains the hemorrhage status effect for 60 seconds. The Pig's Uncommon add-on Utility Blades applies hemorrhage to survivors caught in the reverse bear trap until they remove it. Knowing now what causes hemorrhage, now let's see what survivors can do to counter it. Vigil is one of Quentin's unique perks and says, you and your allies within an 8-meter range recover from the exhausted, hemorrhage, mangled, hindered, and blindness status effects 10, 15, or 20% faster. Once out of range, this effect persists for 15 seconds. So a rank 3 Vigil can turn a 30-second hemorrhage effect into a 24-second one. Vigil can stack with other Vigils as well, so if multiple survivors run it, you can reduce the duration of hemorrhage even more. Keep in mind that Vigil does not stack in an additive way, it stacks in a multiplicative way. So it's not going to give you an 80% reduction with 4 Vigils. The other perk that counters hemorrhage is No Mither, one of David King's unique perks. It says, you are affected by the broken status effect for the duration of the trial. The broken status effect is represented by the crossed out plus symbol, which will be on your screen as well as in your profile in the bottom left corner. That way other survivors can tell you are broken too. And what it means is that you cannot be healed to full. You don't leave pools of blood, grunts of pain caused by injuries are reduced by 0, 25, or 50% at any time, and grants the ability to fully recover from the dying state. Since this perk stops all survivor bleeding, there will never be a trail to follow on survivors with no mither. In addition to those two, any healing or action speed increase perks will also help counter hemorrhage, because the faster you can heal, the faster you can stop bleeding and remove the status effect. For these perks, I won't read through the descriptions for the sake of time, but I will put them up on the screen and display how they work. So first up is Self-Care, a unique perk to Claudette. It allows you to heal yourself so you do not need to rely on another survivor to get rid of hemorrhage. Botany Knowledge, another perk unique to Claudette, increases healing speeds so you can get rid of hemorrhage faster. Leader, a unique perk to Dwight, will help other survivors heal quicker, but not the survivor who has Leader equipped. Autodidact, a unique perk to Adam, can speed up healing immensely, but only once you have gained 2 tokens in it. Before you gain 2 tokens, the healing that you do is basically negated by the perk. But once you get 4 or 5, healing doesn't take very long at all. Solidarity, a unique perk to Jane, can speed up healing on the survivor who has it equipped. Just make sure to heal others before you allow them to heal you. Pharmacy, a unique perk to Quentin, could potentially help since it guarantees you getting an emergency medkit. Will Make It is a base perk available to all survivors, and it speeds up healing after getting a hook save. Spine Chill, a base perk, speeds up healing if the killer is looking in your direction. Resilience, another base perk available to all survivors, allows you to heal faster while you're injured. And finally, No One Left Behind, another base perk, can help speed up healing, but it only speeds up healing after the exit gates are powered, so it's an endgame perk. Then, interestingly enough, the killer perk Dying Light can also counter hemorrhage somewhat, because it increases the altruism speeds of the obsession. Just make sure to stay alive if you are the obsession though, because when the obsession is killed, the consequences are severe. In addition to the perks, medkits and their add-ons can greatly speed up healing and thus negate hemorrhage. Now, if you are a killer and you are wondering how hemorrhage can help you, well, hemorrhage helps you keep track of survivors a lot easier because of that increased bleeding frequency. It gives you a very nice blood trail to follow, so even if you aren't in current chase with a survivor, you could happen by a blood trail and it will lead you to a survivor. It's basically a status effect that helps with tracking. So, that is the hemorrhage status effect. I hope this video has helped you out, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the hemorrhage status effect, leave a comment below. As always, good luck out there in the fog, and see you next time.